Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Sometimes we need to describe things, maybe for an exam, or if we just want to talk about something we've seen or we've done. Describing things can be very hard in English, especially if we don't have a lot of experience. Describing things in an exam can be very daunting and difficult, and I want to give you a few tips to make it easier. Firstly, describing things doesn't involve a lot of vocabulary. In fact, it's better if you don't use so much vocabulary, but try to get inside the mood of the thing. In this way, you won't run out of steam after a few short sentences. As I'm always saying, in the IELTS exam, for example, you're asked usually to describe a holiday, describe a time, describe a moment, or even to describe a piece of art. But if you just describe these things using basic vocabulary, for example, there was grass, there were flowers, or in the piece of art, there was a woman's face, you're only showing the examiner the present tense or one tense, the past tense, and some very basic words. So it's much better to get inside what you're describing. To do that, first of all, you can ask yourself, how does this thing make me feel? And then from there, you can build a very good story around it, an experience of the thing, and that gets you out of only using one tense, the present tense, for example. Let me just give you a few examples, okay? So imagine that you're asked to describe a piece of art. Let's say, for example, the Mona Lisa, okay? Because I think everyone knows the Mona Lisa. All right, so describe the Mona Lisa. So I could say, well, it's a woman with a face and a black background, but very quickly you can hear that I've run out of things to say. I mean, I do have more vocabulary. I could add she's wearing a particular thing, she's wearing a scarf, something like this, but actually that would be a very simple description. It's better to step inside her mind and also to ask how you feel about the Mona Lisa. So let me give you a new answer. The Mona Lisa is one of my favorite paintings. It's a woman who stands rather motionless with a slight grin upon her face. When I see the Mona Lisa, she kind of makes me smile because I'm always trying to work out what she's thinking or what she's saying. Perhaps she's from a very noble family, or maybe she holds some secrets. That, for me, is what the Mona Lisa is all about. So in this picture, with her long dark hair against the dark background, it's very clear to me that there's something else going on in that picture that I'm not seeing. Her dress is very pretty, yet the expression on her face tells me that something there isn't being shown, something's being hidden. Another way you could describe the Mona Lisa is by talking about how it makes you feel, okay? So, for example, you could say things like, well, that is a very nice painting, but that always makes me feel kind of sad. It's kind of a sad painting because there's something being said there that I'm not picking up on. I'd like to know more about what she was thinking. Also, I don't think the colours that we see today are really the colours of the Mona Lisa. I think that painting is probably very faded now, but I don't know. Either way, though, it leaves me with a kind of strange feeling inside that I'm looking at something without understanding really what it is. The colors are very pretty. Certainly they've captured her mood, but I still don't know enough about it to really say whether I like it or not. So you can see there's a few different ways you can describe the Mona Lisa. And both of those ways are very, very different from simply saying the Mona Lisa is a dark painting. The Mona Lisa is a woman, you know? So you have plenty of opportunities there to take this to where you want to go. Right now, I'm sitting in a room. Now, I could describe this room with what's in it. I could say this room has a table. This room has a TV and a piano. But is that really, well, does that really tell the examiner what I can do with English? Well, of course not. What I can do is bring in comparatives. And I could have used those with the Mona Lisa as well. I could say things like, well, compared to other rooms in the house, this one, perhaps, it isn't one of my favorites because it's full of technology. There's a computer, there's a TV, which contrasts greatly against the piano and my artwork, which is quite creative. I would rather have a room without technology, where I could reflect. I think for me, that would be much better. So you can hear there, I've described what's in the room. But I'm comparing one thing against the other. And the more you can do this in an exam setting, the better your mark is going to be. Because of course you're going to get a higher mark for being able to switch tenses and comparatives very quickly. Let me just continue describing this room for you. Okay, so compared to other rooms in the house, this one is rather busy with the table where we eat, with the computer where my family members work, and the TV contrasting greatly against the comfort of the sofa. I'm never sure whether to describe this room as a working room, a machine-type room, or whether a room of comfort when I focus on the sofa and the conversations we have here. I could also talk about the artwork in this room. The artwork in this room is very bright compared to the walls, which are very dark green. The carpet is a kind of half and half mediocre color, and as a result, it doesn't really stand out. What makes this room alive for me is my little cat. He's the king of the house, and he likes to walk through this room. He kind of struts through it very confidently, whereas the rest of us kind of come and go. I would prefer if this room was designated as a room of relaxation, but in these days where technology dominates our lives, I can't escape the computer and TV. I'm pleased that the piano is there. At least it reminds me of some basic creativity. Now you can hear that that's a very, very different description from simply saying there is a table, there is a TV, there is a sofa, there is my cat. So it's something to focus on, how you can compare and contrast and give your own views. And the way you do this is by asking yourself, first of all, how does this thing make me feel? I hope you found this helpful. Let's talk again soon. See you. Bye.